Today, we will delve into the pages of the Bible to explore the fascinating figure of Deborah, a remarkable woman who defied the conventions of her time and left a lasting legacy as the only judge and prophetess mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. Deborah was not just an ordinary woman. Her lineage and genealogy add layers of complexity to her story. According to biblical records, she was an Israelite, a descendant of the tribe of Ephraim, a lineage that often goes unnoticed. However, God's choice to raise up a judge and prophetess from among the Ephraimites highlights the diversity of divine tools. As we delve deeper into the narrative of the judges, we discover that Deborah played a crucial role as a troubleshooter in Israel. This designation goes beyond the common title of judge. She was a problem solver, a mediator divinely chosen to bring justice and harmony to the Israelite nation. Deborah's role as troubleshooter proves crucial in a period when Israel faced internal and external challenges. Her wisdom and discernment were required to resolve conflicts and maintain social order. Contrary to the image often associated with male leadership in that society, Deborah emerged as a light, offering a unique and indispensable perspective for God's people. Her prophecy also played a crucial role in Israel's spiritual guidance. As a prophetess, Deborah was a direct spokesperson for God, transmitting divine messages to the people. This role not only highlighted their intimate connection with the Creator, but also reinforced women's role as sacred messengers, challenging the patriarchal norms of society at the time. Deborah, throughout her life, faced challenges and adversity, but her courage and determination positioned her as an exemplary leader. Her story resonates as a testimony to God's transformative power, empowering those who dare heed her call, regardless of their gender or social standing. As we examine Deborah's life, we are invited to reflect on how women played crucial roles in the biblical narrative, often eclipsed by narratives centered on male characters. Deborah broke barriers, showing that the ability to lead, solve problems, and prophesy is not restricted by gender. Therefore, as we delve deeper into the richness of Deborah's story, we are challenged to consider how we can apply our timeless principles to our own journey. Her saga transcends the centuries, inspiring us to embrace the divine calling, face challenges with courage, and, above all, trust in God's guidance, regardless of who we are or where we come from. Deborah's time was a turbulent and challenging period in Israel's history, where the presence of this extraordinary judge and prophetess stood out as a source of light and hope. When we examine the historical context in which she lived, we find a rich and complex narrative, full of challenges and overcoming. The main source that provides us with information about Deborah's time is found in the book of Judges, a part of the Old Testament that describes a period of transition between the conquest of Canaan and the installation of the monarchy in Israel. It is in chapter 4 that we find the detailed narrative about Deborah and her influence on one of the most crucial phases of Israelite history. At this particular time, Israel was in a repetitive cycle of disobedience, oppression, and crying for help. Under the leadership of judges, the nation experienced periods of peace followed by relapses into idolatry and rebellion against God. The pattern reveals the cyclical nature of the relationship between Israel and its Lord. Oppression, a recurring theme, came from neighboring nations, in this case especially from King Jabin, whose general Sisera commanded a formidable army. The Israelites, in turn, found themselves in a vulnerable position, facing external and internal threats. The biblical source is rich in details about how the oppression of Jabin and Sisera affected the daily lives of the Israelites, creating an environment of fear and uncertainty. This narrative not only highlights the physical challenges Israel faced, but also the spiritual challenges. God's people, in their disobedience, had strayed from divine principles, delving into the worship of pagan gods, such as Baal and Asherah. This spiritual infidelity, combined with physical oppression, created a scenario of despair, where the need for divine intervention became urgent. Deborah, in this context, emerges as a central figure in the divine response to this crisis. Her appointment as judge and prophetess was not only a response to the cries of the people, but also a reminder that, even in the midst of apostasy and adversity, God still raises capable leaders to guide His people back to the path of righteousness. As we explore Deborah's time, we are challenged to reflect on the similarities between the challenges Israel faced in ancient times and the challenges we face in our own times. The book of Judges offers timeless lessons about the consequences of disobedience, God's faithfulness in the midst of apostasy, and the hope found in God-inspired leadership. Therefore, as we study the stories of the Old Testament, we are guided to consider how we can apply the divine principles revealed in Deborah's day to our own personal spiritual walk. Her story is not just an account of the past, it is a source of inspiration and wisdom as we navigate today's challenges. In the days of Deborah, idolatry, a practice condemned by divine commandments, became a shadow that hung over the exclusive devotion that Israel should dedicate to its Lord. The biblical source, especially chapters 4 and 5 of the book of Judges, offers a penetrating view of the practices of idolatry that permeated Israelite society. The worship of Baal and Asherah, pagan deities associated with fertility and prosperity, became an irresistible temptation for people who, in their disobedience, sought quick and visible solutions to their problems. It seems that we are talking about the century we live in, as history just repeats itself with people following the same attitudes both in disobedience and in the search for increasingly quick solutions. The worship of Baal and Asherah was not only a violation of divine commandments, but also a betrayal of Israel's unique commitment to Almighty God. Departure from the divine standard brought with it not only spiritual consequences, but also tangible repercussions in the form of oppression and suffering at the hands of enemy nations. The importance of obedience to God is reinforced as a central theme in this context. The scriptures make clear that by seeking foreign gods, God's people compromised not only their spiritual allegiance but also their security and prosperity. Deviation from the divine standard resulted in disappointment that manifested not only as external oppression but as a sense of emptiness and purposelessness among the people. It is important to always remember that even when we face external challenges, it is vital to maintain our loyalty to God. Idolatry, by offering seemingly easy solutions, often leads to a path of destruction and desolation. The Lord, who desires the exclusive devotion of His people, is not content to share worship with false gods. The story of Israel serves as a call to repentance and return to the covenant established with God. Departure from the divine standard not only has individual consequences, but also affects the community as a whole. The disappointment experienced by the people while immersed in idolatry serves as a powerful reminder that only obedience to God can lead to true liberation. As we explore the pages of the Bible that address idolatry in Deborah's day, we are challenged to examine our own lives and evaluate whether there are areas where we have allowed modern idols to infiltrate, compromising our devotion to God. Israel's story resonates as a call for restoration and a return to the path of obedience where true freedom and fulfillment are found. As we delve deeper into the records of the Judges, the endless cycle of oppression that enveloped the Israelites is revealed as a continuous narrative of challenges and trials. In this whirlwind of cycles, the influence of Canaanite kings, notably Jabin, emerges as a central component that perpetuates the suffering of the chosen people. The biblical source takes us directly to the events described in the 4th chapter of Judges, where Jabin, a Canaanite king, exercises his influence and authority over Israel. Oppressed under the weight of tyranny, the Israelites cry out for a liberation that could only come from divine intervention. Israel's disobedience opens the door to oppression at the hands of foreign leaders, such as King Jabin and his general Sisera, who become instruments in God's hands to discipline a nation that has strayed. The continued oppression of the people reveals man's inability to free himself from the chains of sin and disobedience. Jabin, with his formidable army, and Sisera with his 900 iron chariots, become vivid symbols of this oppression, generating the need for supernatural divine intervention. Oppression is not just physical, it permeates the daily lives of God's people, paralyzing commerce, disrupting peace, and instilling a constant sense of fear and insecurity. The vicious cycle highlights the inevitability of divine intervention in the face of human inability to break free from the repetitive cycle of disobedience and suffering. Deborah's story is not just the story of an exceptional judge and prophetess. The Lord, in His mercy, does not leave them to their own devices, but chooses to raise capable leaders to lead them to freedom. As we explore this cycle of oppression, we are challenged to reflect on our own lives. How many times do we find ourselves in cycles of disobedience, seeking human solutions to problems that can only be solved by divine intervention? The story of Israel highlights the importance of recognizing our constant need for God, not just in major crises, but in all aspects of life. Therefore, in the face of the relentless cycle of oppression, the lesson is clear: divine intervention is essential to break the chains of disobedience and suffering. Deborah's story is not just a historical account, but an urgent call to recognize our dependence on God and cry out for His intervention in our own journeys of challenges and struggles. The epic story of Deborah the judge and prophetess would not be complete without the arrival on the scene of Barak, an intrinsic character in the military leadership who joined Deborah to face the feared Sisera and his 900 iron chariots. Barak, son of Abinoam and descendant of the tribe of Naphtali, emerges as a skilled military leader, but his journey is marked by the need to trust God completely in the face of a formidable threat. Barak's story in the narrative reveals a unique leadership dynamic shared between him and Deborah. Together, they form an exemplary partnership where Deborah's strategic wisdom intertwines with Barak's military skill. This, in turn, recognizes the importance of divine guidance and the presence of God in the undertaking that lies ahead. The challenge facing Barak is monumental. Sisera, the general with 900 iron chariots, represents a seemingly insurmountable threat. Sisera's military strength is a testament to the technical skill and military power of the opposition Israel faces. However, Barak's response to Deborah's call reveals a deep trust and unshakable dependence on God. Barak's faith is tested when Deborah delivers the divine message that victory over Sisera will be delivered into the hands of a woman. Despite his military knowledge and experience, Barak accepts this prediction without hesitation, evincing a confidence that transcends seemingly unfavorable circumstances. The battle unfolding on Mount Tabor is a true test of courage and faith. Barak, guided by Deborah, descends onto the battlefield, despite facing the disadvantage of fighting 900 iron chariots. This choice highlights not only the courage, but the deep trust that Barak places in Deborah's divine promise and leadership. God's presence in battle is evidenced by supernatural intervention. An abrupt storm transforms the terrain and annihilates the tactical advantage of the iron chariots. At this crucial moment, Barak's trust in God is rewarded as victory is achieved in a surprising way. The story of Barak and Sisera is not just a military narrative, but a timeless lesson in the importance of trusting God, even when facing seemingly insurmountable odds. Barak, by collaborating with Deborah and trusting in divine intervention, reminds us that victory is not determined by human strength, but by unshakable trust in the power of God. Therefore, as we consider this part of Deborah's story, we are challenged to reflect on our own trust in God in the face of the battles we face. Just as Barak learned, unshakable trust in God is the foundation for victory over the threats that come our way. At the culmination of the battle against Sisera, we witness a truly astonishing turn of events, where God enters the scene in an extraordinary way, sealing the complete defeat of the formidable Canaanite general. This moment not only illustrates the manifestation of divine power, but also highlights the unexpected role of Jael, Heber's wife, in the epic conclusion of this story. Divine intervention is impressively revealed when a sudden storm transforms the terrain, rendering Sisera's 900 iron chariots useless. This unforeseen change creates a scenario where Barak's army, despite its disadvantages, finds an opening to victory. The unexpected becomes the platform for demonstrating God's power. However, the turnaround doesn't stop there. Jael's crucial and surprising role comes into play, adding a layer of complexity to the story. Jael, the wife of Heber, an apparently neutral ally in the dispute, receives Sisera in her tent after his escape from the battle. What seemed to be a gesture of hospitality turns out to be, in fact, a courageous and decisive act. By offering milk to Sisera, Jael reassures him, creating a false sense of security. However, when Sisera falls asleep, Jael makes a bold and decisive decision. She takes a tent peg and determinedly drives it into Sisera's temple, putting an end to the threat that had haunted Israel for so long. Jael's role, although unexpected, plays a crucial role in fulfilling Deborah's prophecy of victory delivered into the hands of a woman. Jael's cunning and courage not only seals Sisera's defeat, but also brings this narrative to a surprising and memorable conclusion. This twist not only highlights the unpredictability of divine interventions, but also highlights how God uses unexpected people to accomplish his purposes. Jael, a seemingly peripheral figure in the conflict, becomes an instrument in God's hands to achieve the liberation of his people. As we explore this part of Deborah's story, we are challenged to recognize that even in the midst of the most surprising twists and turns, God is in control. Unforeseen twists and turns are opportunities for his power and sovereignty to manifest, and people like Jael remind us that faithfulness and courage in crucial moments can shape the course of history. So the surprising turn of events in Deborah and Barak's battle not only closes a crucial chapter in Israel's history, but also leaves a lasting mark on how God works in ways that surpass our understanding, using ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary feats. As we contemplate Deborah's story, permeated by unexpected twists, profound lessons emerge, echoing through the centuries and illuminating the paths of our own journeys. Let's explore some of the essential lessons this unique narrative offers. 1. Obedience as a foundation. Deborah's story highlights the importance of obedience to God's commandments. The deviation of God's people into idolatry and practices contrary to the divine will result in a cycle of oppression. This warns us of the dangers of straying from God's ways and highlights the ongoing need to remain faithful to His guidance. 2. Unshakable trust in God. Barak's role in the battle against Sisera highlights the need to trust God unwaveringly, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Barak, by facing the 900 iron chariots with confidence in the divine promise, inspires us to place our trust in God's power in the midst of adversity. 3. Courageous and strategic action. Deborah and Jael, each in their own way, embody courageous and strategic action. Deborah, as judge and prophetess, leads with wisdom and discernment, while Jael demonstrates courage by acting decisively in battle. These female figures defy stereotypes and inspire the courage needed to face challenges with determination. 4. God uses unexpected means. The surprising twist in the story, with Jael playing a crucial role, highlights that God often uses unexpected means to accomplish His purposes. It reminds us that even in unlikely situations, the divine hand may be acting in ways that transcend our understanding. As we reflect on these lessons, we realize that Deborah's narrative is not just a distant page of history, but a source of wisdom relevant to modern challenges. Continued obedience to ethical and moral principles, trust in God in the face of uncertainty, courageous actions, and a willingness to be used in unexpected ways are timeless qualities. In current times, we face distinct complexities and challenges, but fundamental lessons remain. Deborah's story encourages us to seek divine guidance in our decisions, to trust in God's power when faced with adversity, and to act courageously even when circumstances seem unfavorable. May Deborah's journey and the lessons learned inspire everyone to live obediently, confidently, and courageously, recognizing that God continues to work in surprising ways, shaping the course of history through those who choose to follow Him faithfully. As we say goodbye to this journey through Deborah's fascinating story, we cannot simply leave these lessons as mere observations from the past. The true richness of these biblical narratives lies in their ability to shape our present and inspire our future. Apply the lessons learned to your own life. As Deborah led wisely, as Barak trusted God in the face of adversity, and as Jael acted courageously in crucial moments, may these examples resonate in our everyday choices. 1. Obey the divine will. Just as disobedience led to oppression in Israel, seek to obey God's will in all areas of your life. Hold fast to the ethical and moral principles that reflect His guidance. 2. Unshakably trust in God. In the face of challenges, big or small, cultivate unshakable trust in God's power. Just as Barak faced the 900 iron chariots with faith, trust that divine intervention is available in all your battles. 3. Act with courage and wisdom. At crucial moments, be courageous and strategic in your actions. Just as Deborah led with discernment and Jael acted decisively, do not be afraid to take bold action when necessary. We sincerely thank you for taking the time to explore this biblical narrative with us. May Deborah's lessons echo in your life, transforming not only your present, but also your future. If this content resonated with you, please encourage us by leaving your comments below. Share your reflections, experiences, or suggestions for future explorations of biblical stories. Our goal is to continue this journey together, discovering the riches and wisdom contained in the Scriptures. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspirational and educational content. Your interaction is valuable, and we look forward to continuing to grow and learn together. Until next time, may Deborah's lessons guide each step of your journey.